Hey everyone, welcome back. In the last videos, you have installed Python and set up VS Code. Now we are going to take the next important step, which is isolating your Python projects properly using virtual environments with UV. So what is a virtual environment? First of all, think of a virtual environment like a separate room in your house. So everything you do inside this room stays in that room. You can install tools, packages, or make changes without affecting the rest of your house. So in Python terms, the room is the virtual environment. So the packages you install there, like for example, the PyTest or requests stay only in that environment. Other projects on your computer don't see these packages, so nothing breaks. So you might have many Python projects, so installing a particular version of PyTest might not break another project that is using a different Python PyTest version. So why do we need this? As I said, you are working on two projects. Let's say you are working on a Python project A and another Python project B. Project A might need a PyTest version 7 and project B might need another different PyTest version 8, which is the latest version for that project to work correctly. So if we install PyTest globally, these two projects will use the same version and they might not work, and there could be a conflict and they would stop working. One of them would stop working because one of them would need a version 7 which is not compatible with the latest version 8. So with virtual environments, project A has its own room with PyTest version 7 and project B has a different room that is a virtual environment with PyTest version 8. This way they don't interfere with each other, there is no conflict, everything works smoothly. So here is a mental picture for you to imagine this. So each project is isolated, safe and easy to manage. So let's take a look at what is UV. UV is a modern Python tool that replaces the previously used pip, venv and pip tools. So this is a very simple, all you need is UV, the one tool that replaces all these three. So what this UV allows you to do is create virtual environments. You can create virtual environments, you can install all the packages. Previously we used to use pip to install packages. Now all we need is the same UV command to create virtual environments, to install packages, run Python code, run your code, and you can also lock dependencies for reproducible builds. So we can see this in action. So UV is a fast, simple, and it works across any OS, whether you are using Mac OS, Linux or Windows. This UV is the one tool that you need. So let's take a look at how to install this UV in this Mac that I use. You can do the same thing on your Windows machine, but first let me show you the command, and I will put the commands in the description. So let's install this UV using this curl command. So you can see here the UV version 0.9.21. So it's already installed previously, so it says everything installed. Now that's good. So you need to restart the terminal here. You will be usually getting a message here if you are installing it for the first time. So just close the terminal, and that way you are restarting it. So open the terminal again, and we can check the version of this UV by using this command UV space -- version. And if you have installed UV successfully, you will see this version here, 0.9.21, and the date of installation and the next step. And as I said, you can use a similar command for Windows. This is the command. So Windows, you can use the PowerShell and then type this command irm space and this URL and the complete command with a pipe and space IEX. So since this is Mac, I'm not going to run this, but this is a command for the Windows machine. So once you have installed the UV, you can restart the PowerShell in Windows and in Mac you can restart the terminal, and I have restarted it. So let's create a project folder. So I have this command already here. So let's say you have a Python project called my underscore Python dash project. This is your project folder. So we are making a directory and cd to the directory. So we are in this my Python project directory. So here this is our own project. So we might need, so this needs its own dependencies or libraries. For example, Python PyTest version 7. So this is like we can create a virtual environment that is specific to this project. So previously I mentioned project A. So let's say this is your project, my Python project. So we are going to initialize a virtual environment. And like I said before, all we need is the simple UV tool, which we have already installed. So what we need to do is we need to initialize this project by running this UV space init. So this is an empty folder. So when we run the UV init, so it's going to create all these initial files, the pyproject.toml and the readme.md file, and it creates the main.py. So this is a initialized, so it initialized the project, the Python project for you, and this is the important step because this file is what it's going to look for when we run the subsequent commands, which we will see in a few seconds. So the next step, we have initialized the project. We have this initial files here successfully created, and we are going to run this command uv space venv. So what this is the command to create a virtual environment for this project. So when this command runs, you can see that it says it is going to use the project, the Python version 3.14.2, which is the version on this machine, and it's going to tell the location of that, and it says creating virtual environment at this .venv folder. And the next step is to, now it has created this environment, the virtual environment. Now we need to activate it. So we need to, so you need to run this command to activate it. So when it's activated, you can see the project name in the parenthesis and the prompt here. So this confirms that this project, this virtual environment is now activated, and you can run the similar commands on your Windows machine, which I will leave it in the description. And now for this specific, so now we have the virtual environment created and it is activated. We can go ahead and install the libraries, the PyTest or Selenium, or for API you might need the requests library. So we can add those using the simple UV command, that is the UV space add space followed by all your dependencies, which are space separated. So here I have two libraries, PyTest for Python tests and requests for API requests, and that's it. So you don't need to run the pip command. This UV is used for creating the virtual environment, and it also install the dependencies. So it installed this 10 packages and PyTest and requests, and the other packages are the packages that are required by these dependencies. That is called the transitive dependencies, you can say. So the main Python and requests are here with the versions, and these two needs the other dependencies for these two to work fine. So these two also resulted in eventually install the other packages to make sure this library needs these things too. So there you go. So we installed all the required packages inside the virtual environment. And if I go to the Visual Studio, for example, I have already opened this project, the folder here. So it was empty before, but now after initializing and doing all these commands, you can see that the toml file .toml file now has this details of the project. So it says what are the dependencies we just installed the PyTest and the requests, the version which we saw here, the 9.0 .2 232.5. So there you go. So it updates this TOML file automatically, and we can also verify the installation using the same uv command, so which is uv.pip.list. So what this does is it lists all the packages and their version that are being installed only for this MyPython project. So if you have another project like my second Python project or my third Python project, you can create a separate virtual environments for those projects, and you can install a different PyTest version 8 or PyTest version 7, because 7 might be compatible for that third Python project. But for this project, we have our own virtual environment with our own tools, that is the packages installed with their own versions. So this is our own room or the virtual environment. So that's what we did. So we can even create a Python code file here and then see how it works. So test, and we can test that this file runs fine. So we can create a new file, let's say hello.python, and in the VS Code we have this hello.python and it is empty. Hello.py file, and let me copy a sample code here. So we have this line here, so we have the print statement. So using the same uv command, we can execute this Python file, we can run this Python file. So all we need to do is type this command uv space run space python space hello.py, and that's it. You see the print command being executed, which is hello from a UV virtual environment, and there you go. The Python script ran fine. So even if the UV environment is not activated, the UV run automatically uses the correct environment. So you don't need to activate it each time. Once you created the virtual environment, when you run the command the next time, it automatically activates and automatically uses the correct environment. And then the another important command you need to do with the UV is the UV lock command. So what this command does is it ensures that your project always uses the exact package version that works. So this will create a uv.log file, you can see here. So it locks in the exact package versions. So you can see it has all these details, and our latest PyTest will be here. So if you search for PyTest, so it has dependencies, and then the specifier, it says it should be greater than or equal to. So the minimum version should be 9, and so that's what it says. So basically it ensures that your project uses that particular version, and it creates the log file. So, and it contains all the versions, the dependencies, other dependencies, including this PyTest and requests dependencies and their versions, and it also has the sub dependencies. And so TOML is what your project needs. So you can see your project needs PyTest and request, right? But the uv.lock has the information about the exact versions that will work. So that's all about these two files we have. And if you want to recreate the same environment, there is another simple way you can do. That is, what do you mean by recreating environments? That means that when you or someone else wants the same environment, let's say someone else wants the same environment with the same tools, the packages and the same versions and the same Python version, they can use the same environment. So you can simply run this command uv.sync, uv space sync, and it does this thing where it reads the TOML package the TOML file and the UV log file, and it sets up the exact environment with the same packages, same versions on any machine. So you can use this command when you want to say clone the same project on a new laptop, or you are running this test in CI/CD for example Jenkins, or simply when you are rebuilding your environment. And so now we are in the virtual environment. As you can see, the project name and the prompt. So how to exit this environment, the virtual environment safely? The command is the same for Mac OS or Windows or Linux. So the command is deactivate. So this is how you come out of the virtual environment, and you can go back to your machine default prompt. And when you want to go into the environment, you need to activate by running the command, which we saw earlier. So that is the same command here. You simply have to say source space. So this is how you have to activate, and to deactivate you just run this deactivate. In this video we saw how virtual environments can be created. What is the purpose? They simply prevent conflicts when you have multiple projects and each project needs their own package with specific versions and different tools applicable only for that project. So this UV command is what you can use to create a virtual environment, run your Python tests, and the managing your environment, making it easy to manage. And we also saw the UV space log command to freeze the working versions, and finally the UV space sync command, which basically recreates the exact environment anywhere you want. So what's next? In the next video we are going to see how to set up your VS Code for Python, including the extensions, formatter, linting, and then we follow along the playlist. So if you like this video, please subscribe, like, and share this video so others can also understand what UV is and how helpful it is to create virtual environments. So I will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.